Welcome back, Auburn recruiting junkies. We've got another commitment video for you today, and we're talking about 2 in a row. This time on the defensive side of the ball for football, and we're talking about, yes, you shouldn't be surprised at this point, yet another flip for Hugh Freeze. We're talking about Shamar Arnoux from Georgia, and yes, we'll talk about that flip story too. So let's dive into all the things that you need to know, quick facts, and what it means for him. Obviously, the team, the class, all of those things are coming up right now. Let's talk about the guy first, Shamar Arnoux, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe I am. I tried my best to get my dialect around that, but comes from Georgia, Carrollton, Georgia, to be specific, in Carrollton High School. He's been committed to USC since June, and Auburn's been working on him. Obviously, we know our great defensive back coach, Charles Kelly, and also Wesley McGriff have been working on this guy. And it's hard to ignore another story that we'll talk about in just a second as well. But a flip from USC just kind of builds the storyline around what Auburn's been able to do in flipping people from Michigan, from Georgia, from Alabama, all over the place. And I'm leaving at Penn State. I'm leaving out several of them at this point. This guy's currently listed somewhere in the range of 6'1", 6'2", 175 pounds, which by my impressions and my belief system puts him right in the cornerback spot. But I like to characterize these guys just as defensive backs in general until they actually get on the field. They get here, they get into the programs. But for most people's purposes, he's going to be a cornerback, and he's considered a 3-star on most sites. There's a site or two that will have him as a 4-star if you care about such things. But certainly, we always talk about it's not how many stars that you come in with, it's how many you leave with that matters the most. Now, let's talk about the story within the story. Certainly, the flip is cool enough, but what probably brought this about? Obviously, we can make assumptions, logical assumptions, that there was a decommitment a day ago, and that was Dante Core, who's been committed to the Tigers for a while. I'd have to say that since this is following back-to-back, that spot is opened up now, so they were able to convince the guy, hey, we've been working on you, we got this spot. So it makes logical sense. It's not a big leap to kind of make those assumptions from this point forward, but however he got here, we're happy to have him. So what does it mean? What does it mean for him? What does it mean for Auburn? What does it mean for the future of this class and the spots that may or not be opening up there? Let's talk about the class first. This brings it currently at the time of his commitment. That's an important thing to always remind you. That's what we're talking about. At this current time, 28 total commits. Interestingly enough, it also makes it the 6th total defensive back commit and the 4th of the cornerbacks. The other ones we have listed here, they're going to be obviously Blake Woodby, several other names to remember in here, Devin Williams and Donovan Starr. Obviously, Dante Core no longer part of that class right now. So 4 cornerbacks and then 6 total, if you count the safeties as part of that as well, bringing the class up to 28 at the time of his commitment. It's a good defensive back class brought in by Charles Kelly and Wesley McGriff thus far. So what does it mean for him? Playing time, thinking about that. Obviously, you got to look to depth charts and see who is or who isn't going to be there. There's a lot of young talent at Auburn at the defensive back position across the board. There are going to be a few that are going to be leaving, your Keontae Scotts and a few others. So certainly there will be spaces open up, but you get the impression that a lot of these guys, while they will find, I'm sure, playing time because you just put your athletes out there on the field, they're going to have a few other people to have to beat out to find that playing time from some of the young talent that's already playing at Auburn. But certainly, anything is fair game when you get out there in the field and just go to work. Now, what does this mean for the class? And, if you think about it, obviously, that is 4 cornerbacks. That feels like a lot in a class. Does that mean we're done? Well, you know what the phrase is. We ain't done yet. It always seems like that might be out there. So I'd never rule anything out, but it is starting to feel kind of full. 2 safeties, 4 cornerbacks. That's a pretty good defensive back class. And always, I love to note this too. It's great to take care of your neighbor state, Georgia. This is at the time of his commitment, if I did all my math correctly, the 7th one from the state of Georgia. Obviously, this class had a heavy emphasis on Alabama, but you always want to take care of those Georgia boys too. That's all your quick facts and things that you need to know and what it could mean for all of the team, for him, and everything else. Let us know your thoughts about him down in the comments section below, and we'll talk to you again soon. War Eagle.